Hey, it's Joe Glines from the AutoHotkey, and I happened to find this file on my computer and it brought me down memory lane, so I thought I'd have a little fun showing you how long I've been using like automation type things as far as I can remember, right? Because I don't honestly remember when I actually started, but let me share my screen here so I can start walking through the stuff. So I can remember at my undergrad around 1997, I was teaching a friend of mine, Dan Joseph, how you can put, and it had to be on your desktop, I think it was Windows 95, you could create a shortcut, and when you right-click and go to Properties, you could create a shortcut, right, to launch that tool. It only worked on your desktop, but you could allow you to hit a hotkey to go trigger and launch something, right? So that was the first instance I can really remember of doing this. And, which, by the way, a different tool I happened to notice was this Hotkey Detective. And if you run it, you run it in it's an old program here, but it will show you using the old approaches, right? The hotkeys that were out there. So again, this tool was in 2002. Well, at least that version of it was released in 2002. This is also an old tool. So there was that. Then I switched to using autocorrect in Word. Let me bring up Word. And if you go to like your options to proofing, I think, autocorrect options. Here, you could put in, J and put in Joe, and it's basically like a hot string as well. The bummer about this was Word had its own version, Excel had its own instance of this, PowerPoint had its own instance, and Outlook didn't have it at the time. That was in around 1998 when I was doing that, and I was using it a lot, and it helped save me a ton of time, but I got really annoyed that I had to keep all the different versions up to date, and there wasn't a central version. Later, they combined them. But meanwhile, and this is the program that I did find. Now, it runs, but it doesn't actually do the substitution. This Robotype program. This tool is what I found in around 1999, and it allowed you to put in hot strings as your trigger, and then have things, text expansion, right? So I thought this was just amazing because I could take this to any computer. It kept it any program. It didn't matter. They had options. There's some pretty cool options in here. If you go into options and advanced, you could just put it on the clipboard instead of replacing it. You could have it leading with a character if you wanted to. You could have it erase your clipboard. You could add trending or delete the trending lines and stuff. It's an interesting program. Again, I can't get it to actually work to do the triggering, but that doesn't matter. But it was just really, really interesting. Then I'm thinking around 2005 ish. So no, I think that's when AutoHotkey was actually it was released before that. But around 2005, now that I see my Robotype files and when they were created, I think it was around 2005 that I started actually using AutoHotkey, and I used it for hotkeys and hot strings for probably like 5 years without ever doing anything else, right? So just a fun, interesting thing of hot strings, and I've been finding ways to do automation. When I switched jobs at TI, I started becoming an object-oriented programmer and learning what AutoHotkey is actually capable of, right? Most people come to AutoHotkey learning hotkeys and hot strings and using them, and they're amazing, right? I was probably 5 times more productive than all my teammates because of using hot strings and hotkeys, and I would write macros and SPSS and stuff. But hope you enjoyed that. You chime in here on the video. When can you recall the first time, how did you find AutoHotkey? I think I was just Googling it and happened to find something simple, because Robotype, for what I needed, was doing a pretty good job, and somehow I don't remember how I ended up on AutoHotkey. I know it wasn't from talking to someone, because I didn't know anybody at the time that did anything like this. But I'd love to hear from you. Comment on the video of when you first started doing this type of thing, and how did you hear about it? What was your drive? I think most people that come to AutoHotkey are very self-driven, and they want to be more productive and efficient, and I'm curious if you agree with that. Thanks for watching. Cheers.